Hello everyone and welcome to season 6 of the Gradcracker webinars. And we have a jam-packed season this year, so much so on some weeks we are holding a webinar on a Monday and a Thursday. So watch out for those and make sure you register your interest on the webinar page on Gradcracker. This year we've got some familiar favourites joining us, such as Aston Martin Formula 1, Mercedes Formula 1, Siemens and the RAF, to name a few. We've also got some new names for you to look out for. We've got a really exciting season ahead. Today we're joined by Aston Martin Formula 1, and before we meet everyone, I would like to briefly introduce me and Jess. So for those who don't already know me and Jess, my name is Carla, I'm a director at Gradcracker, and I've been with the business for nearly 16 years. And I've been working with Aston Martin Formula 1 for nearly 4 years, and they advertise their placement opportunities on their hub on Gradcracker, which are now live. Thank you to Georgia and the team at Gradcracker who's added those
adding them.
in the last 10 minutes. So thank you, Gradcracker team. Jess, over to you. Tell everybody a little bit more about you, my darling.
Thank you, Carla. And hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be back for season 6. Can you believe we're starting season 6?
No, I can't.
No, I'm so looking forward to finding out more about Martin Formula 1 today. But my name's Jess, and I'm marketing director here at Gradcracker. I look after all the universities and any STEM students that are interested in the world of STEM and are fantastic employers. And I am looking forward to being here today to find out more about Aston Martin Formula 1.
Thank you very much, Jess. So Jess actually did some prep. So she's like, what do I actually do?
What did I do again?
I'm going to write down some notes. So thanks, Jess. So during the webinar, our aim is to find out a little bit more about Aston Martin Formula 1. So we will talk about who they are, what they do, and also what opportunities you, our STEM students, can apply to this year and now on Gradcracker. We will then speak to the students about what life is like for them. So we will cover in detail about the application process, relocation, the fantastic campus that they've got there, and how their programs are developing each year. At the end of the webinar, we will hope that you will all apply for their roles, which I keep mentioning are live, but don't go and apply to them now. You know, there's plenty of time, and make sure you watch this webinar first, get all of the hints and tips, and then go and put your application in after. So last year, we started to allow you, our STEM students, to submit questions for us to ask on the webinars, and it was a huge success. And we're going to do the same again this year. So if you have something that you would like us to ask on the future webinars, don't be shy, don't hide away. Go to the webinar page on Gradcracker to submit your question in advance. And me and Jess would also like to say thank you so much for the students who've already submitted their questions for this webinar. We're going to ask the students and Georgia as well, all of your questions during the next hour or so. So let's start with the webinar and meet Aston Martin Formula 1. So thank you everybody for joining us today, and thank you for being all suited and booted again. You look absolutely amazing. Georgia is the talent acquisition partner, and we'll be giving you an insight into the company, the roles they have open, and also the application process. We are also joined by a fantastic panel. So we've got placement students, Emmanuel, also known as Manny, hi Manny, Oscar and Mika, and graduate Iris, who also started as a placement student as well. Georgia, thank you, my darling, for joining us on this webinar. So tell everyone about your role and also a little bit more about Aston Martin Formula 1.
Yes. Hello, welcome. So my name is Georgia. I am the talent acquisition partner here at Aston Martin Formula 1. So I look after the recruitment and selection for all of our placement roles. So we're really excited that we've just opened applications for our 2026 placements. So like Carla said, those are available to apply on Gradcracker. So they will be open for 3 weeks to join us as a 12-month placement in one of our various departments.
Perfect, lovely. Thank you very much, Georgia. And like Georgia mentioned, there is a closing date of those opportunities of the 26th of September. So don't forget, there's not much time to apply. So make sure you get your applications in after the webinar. Georgia, tell us a little bit more about Aston Martin Formula 1 as a company.
So as I'm sure a lot of people have seen, if they know anything about Formula One or Aston Martin Formula One team, we've been on a huge journey over the past few years. A huge amount of investment has gone into the team, a few changes of names along the way as well. So now we're in a position where we have two excellent Formula One drivers, and we're competing each race weekend on track. To hopefully win a constructors championship. That is our number one goal. So we're very focused, very innovative and forward thinking, and it's not if but when.
Absolutely. Thank you, Georgia.
Attitude.
And it's good attitude, isn't it?
Yeah.
Positive mental attitude. So we've actually got a question from a student, which I think is a really good question. So Joshna, who's studying business at the University of Essex, asks, does your company use business analytics to improve? Now, I'm guessing you're going to say yes, and everybody's smiling and nodding like yes, obviously. But could you tell me a little bit more, Georgia, about how you use analytics to improve the business?
No, that's a really good question. And
Yeah.
analytics and data in general is something that's really important in the evolution of the team, and to be more innovative and more understanding of, what's happening both within the business, on track, on the car. So it's used across multiple departments, including places like IT. So our IT team have a large growing projects team who are working and looking at the analytics and data as a whole across the business. But then there's also business analytics on the performance side as well. So looking at the car performance and the analytics and data that comes off track, comes off things like simulations and modeling. So both technical and more non-technical and business focused areas, even down to we have business analytics within finance, within HR, within ESG and sustainability. So it really depends on what you're interested in, but there's definitely an opportunity there.
I will say, Georgia, you are very brave to say innovative on a live webinar twice. I wouldn't go there. So very brave. Well done. So since we've been working together, I know we've said we've worked together now for 4-ish, maybe 5 years. Me and Jess were talking before, we know that you have grown from strength to strength every year. The numbers of opportunities that you've got across more streams every year. So can you tell the audience who's watching a little bit more about the streams and the opportunities that you've now got open?
Yeah, no, of course. So yeah, exactly like you said, every year we just go from strength to strength, especially within our early careers programs and the opportunities that we can bring to students and graduates alike. So this year we have placements across all of our 3 core departments, so operations, business enabling functions, and technical. So within technical, we have placements across all departments, including engineering, aerodynamics, vehicle performance, vehicle dynamics, and everything kind of in between. So any sort of technical aptitude that you have, or any technical interest, there's probably something for you. And we're also expanding across our non-technical placements as well. So over the next few months, we will be opening more placements as they come up within the business. So places you could see as things like finance, HR, project coordination, for the more non-technical across business enabling functions.
Perfect. So what I will say, obviously we've got the 8 opportunities that are open on Gradcracker now, but it'd be well worth giving Aston Martin Formula One a follow as well. So when we do open those other opportunities that George has just mentioned, you will be the first to find out. So you'll get an email and push notification. So don't forget 2 jobs. I know it's only 10 minutes into the webinar, but 2 jobs so far. Apply and also follow on Gradcracker. So thank you very much, Georgia. We're going to come back to you towards the end of the webinar to discuss hints and tips and also how students who do apply can be successful. So you can sit back a bit now and just relax. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Jessica, and Jess is going to speak to all of these students.
Woohoo! Okay, Manny, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay. Can you tell me a bit about yourself? So things like where you went to university and what you studied.
Yeah, hi Jessica. So hi everyone, my name's Manny. I'm the composites design industrial placement at Aston Martin Formula One team. And I'm also a 4th-year engineering student, mechanical engineering student at the University of Birmingham. I chose Birmingham because of its industry ties. It's in the Midlands and there's quite a lot of automotive industry around the area. And there's great extracurriculars like forming students and such things, which is really useful for applying for things like these.
Fantastic. Perfect. Thank you so much, Manny. Oscar, I'm going to come to you. Similar kind of questions. So where do you go to university and what did you study?
Yep. So hi everyone. I'm Oscar. I currently attend the University at Oxford Brookes. When I leave here, I'll be going into my third year of motorsport engineering. And during my time here, I've been part of the model design department. So working on the wind tunnel model. So it's been good fun.
Brilliant, good stuff. Looking forward to finding out a little bit more about that a little bit later on. Mika, going to come to you again, similar kind of questions.
So yeah, hi everyone. I'm Mika. I've just started my master's in TU Delft in aerospace engineering, aerodynamics in specific, and I used to be the aerodynamics placement student at Aston Martin.
And you went to which university? Sorry.
Delft University in the Netherlands.
Fantastic. So yeah, looking forward to finding out how that move was for you and how you found the transition. So yeah, any international students watching this, it's good to see what that was like for you, so they can get inspired as well. So perfect. Thank you, Mika. And Iris, coming to you, you've got a slightly different situation, but a very exciting one. So you are now a graduate here at Aston Martin. So congratulations for coming back. But yeah, if you could tell us a little bit more about where you went to university originally and what you did on your placement.
I'm Iris. I just graduated from Princeton University. I studied mechanical and aerospace engineering with a minor in material science. I did my placement in test and development, and now I'm back as a mechanical design engineer.
Yay, congratulations. Living the dream, living the dream. So yes, looking forward to, again, finding out a bit more about what you've been up to so far. But here at Gradcracker, and for anyone who has watched a webinar before or listened to one of my Gradcracker talks or presentations, will know that I'm a huge advocate of doing a placement. I bang on about it all the time when I'm doing my talks and speaking to students. So in your own words, Iris, please, can you inspire and enthuse the audience on why they should consider doing a placement and any benefits you found doing a placement, maybe how you found, maybe practicing those personal skills, personal development, and did you go back into your final year thinking, yes, I know what I want to do? Please say yes. I'm assuming you got it.
That was a big build-up. I was just sat there thinking, wow.
No, absolutely. I love that I did a placement. I think it's nice to get a little flavor of what industry is like before you go into it, as well as people will tell you on your placement over and over again, the placement is a year-long interview. Yeah. So when you're looking to get back into, in my case, Formula One after graduating, this is already proof that you know what you're doing. They know what to expect from you skills-wise. And yeah, basically, I didn't even have to apply for my graduate role. I got an email saying, we're looking to hire. We liked you. Do you want to come back?
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. And that's, again, just a great example of why it's so good. Any kind of experience, whether it is a year in industry, or if it's a summer placement or any kind of work experience a student can get, can just help to solidify, can't it? Just think, is this the right option for me? As well as potentially securing a graduate job. So yeah, that is really, really important. So thank you so much, Iris, for that. So Manny, I'm going to come back to you because I keep saying the word deep dive at the moment. I don't really like it, but I keep saying it. So I'm going to say it now before I say it again, but into what life is really like on placement at Aston Martin Formula One. Tell me everything. What projects have you been involved in, training programs, all that kind of stuff? Oh no, Manny, I can't hear you. Lean forward again, love.
So I'm in the composites design group, and we work on anything that's carbon fiber, really. So, which in our case is most of the car. So we've got the front wing groups, rear wing, chassis, that sort of thing. And it's been a really fun experience. I started out in one group and just shifted throughout the various disciplines they have and worked on various projects. You shadow an engineer, learn from them, and then get the opportunity to take on your own projects from there. In terms of induction and things, we started out with the lovely HR group. They showed us around, gave us all the tips and tricks to starting out and figuring out where, things like where to live, where to get help around the company. And it was all quite useful.
And how was the kind of that starting process? So obviously you mentioned about, the HR team. Did you have quite a good relationship with them almost from the start? So you felt comfortable, who you could speak to? Was it an easy transition?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, even before we started, they set up a day where we all visited the company, got to meet each other, it was sort of an icebreaker before we even got here. We got to figure out who we could make friends with, who we could live with.
Yeah.
They've created a massive document which included all of our inductions, like what the area is like, and really gave us any sort of tips, especially for internationals as well, sorting out things like SIM cards,
Yeah.
taxes, national insurance, same difference. But
Oh, Georgia, obviously all your hard work is paying off. Well done. Because that's what it's exactly all about, isn't it? It's feeling comfortable, thinking, right, I can start my first day actually confidently knowing I know what I'm doing. So tell us a bit then about the projects, if you can, Manny. I did pre-warn you before this webinar. I'm going to try and not delve too much and get too many secrets out of you. But what's the projects been like? And is it as amazing as I could imagine it to be?
So I've spent most of the time in the wings group. So one of the projects was working on designing a wing, and it's a very collaborative task. So, we have to talk to the aerodynamicists who then talk to the model design group. They work through that. Then it's very iterative. So it goes back towards them, comes back, and then we've also interact with groups such as the stress group and who we all work together with to put the swing together. So I would have done things like when I started out, jigs, fixtures, done a bit of tooling, and progressed and done more bits and bobs on the car, and finally done some bits on the car which actually went out to a racetrack, which is really cool.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Do you know, I was going to ask that because I think, there's that old kind of fashioned thought still, isn't there, that, do you actually get any hands-on experience? Are you just there to make the teas and coffees and that kind of stuff? But, I think nowadays it's a lot more hands-on, isn't it? And how amazing is that you actually got to experience your own work going out on the car. So how do you find then networking with other groups and navigating, working on a project and then, having the confidence to liaise with the people? And then my second question to that, how do you navigate where you want to go next in the placement? Because you mentioned you kind of get to almost rotate around a little bit. So one, how do you do it within the project you're working on? Then how do you do that secondly when you're looking to the next kind of rotation, if that's the right word? Oh, I've lost you. No, I can't hear you.
Oh, try again.
Laptop or wobble.
That coming back?
There you are.
There it is.
Yeah, so the thing about Aston, it's been fantastic because, we are placements, but you almost forget the fact that you're a placement. You're treated as an equal.
Yeah.
So even when, you might be a little too scared to approach someone, it's like, oh, just come right in, join us. And you really get into the sense of, right, this is a team. We're here to make a car go fast. So you can get to, everyone's very open, so you can get to speaking to groups and interacting with everyone quite easily. So collaborating and figuring out, oh, hey, maybe I need to speak to this person was quite an easy task to pick up. But in terms of, sorry, what's the second half of the question?
It was me, really, sorry. I went on slightly. I thought of it and then I thought, oh, two things there. My second part of the question was, how did you find navigating where you wanted to go next on your placement? So you said that you kind of was it right that you got to kind of rotate a little bit? So you got to experience a few different things. How would you decide once you've finished, say, one project or work with one team that you get to go on to the next area or the next rotation?
Go forward again, Manny.
No.
Georgia, you need to give it a wiggle. Georgia seems to have the magic touch when it comes to this laptop.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it working?
There you
are.
Yeah, okay. So with my manager, I had quite a few one-to-ones. So, we'd catch up every so often and we'd discuss how things have been going. So we're fortunate we have various groups within our overall larger group.
Yeah.
So if I'd been, let's say, in the wings group, I then said, okay, this has been really fun. Maybe chassis is similar enough, or chassis is different, and this is what I want to experience. And we could then discuss and plan when I made the transition to a different group.
Yeah. Perfect. Oh, that's good. Again, it's good to know that again, the students that are listening to this, I'll be making notes of this because this is always good things to be thinking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
What different areas could I show an interest in? What are all the areas? Again, and you can, really start to show off when you are putting your application out there. So perfect. Thank you so much, Manny, for that. Oscar, I'm going to come to you next because you are next on my list. So again, similar kind of questions, if you don't mind. So tell me a bit about the projects and really what life has been like on placement so far for you.
Yeah, so within model design, basically it varies day to day. You can get completely different things throughout the week. But as a sort of top-down view of basically how it works is we'll be liaising with aerodynamicists and surfacers. And they'll give us like a design that they want to be tested.
Okay.
And we take that basically from their brains, from their CAD work, from their surfaces, and we actually turn that into a real 3D either polymer or metallic object, a part to test. So we do our magic design work on CAD. We'll send it down to the relevant design team. So that can be being machined, it can be a CNC machine, or it can go to one of our ADM machines, so additive manufacture. And that most of the time is of a wide range of different exciting polymers and fun materials that we can play with. And then once they've completed that stage, then it will basically get completed by the rest of the manufacturing team and then get bolted onto the winds on the model. Which is probably the coolest part of the job, is when you get a call from one of the technicians asking you to come over and have a look or see if something's fitted right to the model. I remember the first time in the new tunnel that you walk in, it's like this massive, crazy building that's just got a model in the middle, and it's pretty futuristic. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's a lot of things you're involved in, from communicating with the people whose ideas they are, through our own ideas of how it gets fitted to the model and how it gets created, different techniques, and then finally seeing wind on the model.
Wow. Oscar, in terms of the technology that you're working on, obviously I know Oxford Brookes has got some fantastic on-campus, tech that you can access, but I'm assuming it's not Aston Martin Formula One level. So how do you kind of be confident enough, again, just to use that tech? And are you kind of helped, supported? What happens if you do make a mistake? How was it, working as part of a team, working on this amazing technology, which you've obviously, I'm assuming, never used before?
Yeah, so sort of coming off the back of what Manny said, is you're extremely free to express your own ideas and thoughts on things.
That's good.
And you have a little bit of obviously when you first join a new place, you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I should be doing this, but you very quickly get the confidence to back yourself, thinking, okay, that's the right design choice, and you really are free to come up with an idea. Not every idea you do, not every design you do is going to be great. Sometimes even yourself, okay, that wasn't a very good idea, but it's an iterative process. So yeah, you're extremely free to put your own spin on things. That's what I want people here, right? Because it's a whole I can't remember how many you said there were, but 30 plus different ideas. Every year you get new people coming in, new ideas. So I guess that's the entire point.
Absolutely. And do you know that's a really good point overall, that when I'm speaking to students, and I don't know if you guys felt the same, when you're going on to apply to placements and graduate opportunities, that sometimes you put the pressure on yourself, don't you? You're expected to know everything, you're expected to have the answers. And actually, these placements, these early career opportunities really are a chance for you to explore, test out the water, try new things. And it's amazing that you're in an environment that really is geared up for that is all about testing, experimenting, and see what works. So Oscar, we're going to probably cover this a lot, but is it as good as you imagined it to be? And do you feel as though your personal development has really exceeded whilst being there?
Yeah, so I think you briefly mentioned it a short while ago about the typical placements just come, the main season coffees, they send an email. I think I was extremely shocked by how much you get involved in. So that's what I was most surprised about. In terms of the technology available, obviously you'd expect it to be really advanced, but it's far beyond what you could think. The tolerances we work to, the materials we work with, the timescales we work on, it's pretty crazy.
Is it fast paced then? Is it?
Yeah.
Come up with an idea.
That's probably one of the most noticeable things, is how quickly things turn around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so from other places that either like university projects or other stuff I've worked on, it's from someone's from thought in someone's brain to having a physical part in your hand. The turnaround times are crazy, and along with the turnaround times, it's not a part that's rushed. It's a part that's it's been manufactured to a world-class finish. So it's not necessarily just smashing things through, but everything's done like extremely efficiently and to a really good standard as well.
So it really is a team effort, isn't it, on all levels?
Yeah.
From coming up with the idea to creating it to putting it on the car and getting it turned around as quick as you can. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So thank you so much, Oscar. Mika, I'm going to come to you next. Again, tell me everything that you've been up to. I know obviously you're back home now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you still wish you were there. But yeah, tell us a little bit about your experiences and what you got up to.
Yeah, so as I've told before, I used to be an aerodynamicist, which means you're at the sort of, I want to say root of the whole development. Yeah, so you also communicate with a lot of people. We would get targets from people a bit higher up in the company. So obviously, I don't get to decide I want the car to look exactly like this or I want it to perform in this way. Luckily, we have people higher up that decide that. But from that, we get targets to meet, and they basically will say, yeah, make designs that meet that target. So there's a lot of creativity in the role. You would see numbers come by and you would sort of make your design in CAD just by, you have an own idea, you put that in CAD, and then through CFD testing, wind tunnel testing, you see if that design performs as well as you'd like. And then if it performs as well as you like, after a lot of development, it might be put on the car. So yeah, as other people have taught before, it's really cool to see that at the end of the year when the car gets launched, you see parts on there
I did that.
I get that. Yeah, exactly.
Mika, just thinking again about all the students that are watching and watching the recording again in the future and things like that. Is there any advice that you would give to them? Again, I'm sorry, Cal, we are going to talk about this a little bit later on as well, but any kind of software maybe that you use, or maybe you can't say too much there, so maybe I don't want to be leading you too much, but anything that maybe you thought, oh, I wish I knew this before, or anything you think a student now could be practicing behind the scenes, maybe to get their confidence up on maybe a certain software that you used or whatever?
Yeah, well, I did do a lot of work through my former student team already, so that was nice. But I think especially the hands-on experience with software, like just 3D modeling software, CAD software, that was really nice to know, because in the first few weeks, they give you an introduction into the software we use. And there you see a lot of specific things that you just need to know, or you will learn at some point, but you can see people that have worked with the software before.
Yeah.
They just accelerate their learning process. So I think just in general, any hands-on process with CAD work is very nice.
Yeah.
Then if you get the opportunity to look at a CFD picture before, so you roughly know what's going on. I must say I came into the company with no car design experience at all. At my former student team, I used to do structural design.
Okay.
So, but as I was in contact with some of the aerodynamicists, I saw some CFD work, and I always was more interested in that part than my own work. So that was bad for my work, but good for them. But just look at what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And that's always nice to know.
And would you say, again, going back now into are you final year going in now? Sorry. You did
second to final year.
Second to final, it's a penultimate year. What kind of skills would you say now, a bit like what I asked Iris, but what skills would you think now you're going to really apply in your penultimate year that's going to hopefully make you succeed?
I think it's not even mostly about the technical skills. It's also a lot of the soft skills you learn throughout the year, because obviously I can look at CFD pictures now and think of stuff to do, and you're sort of, well, in my case, my aerodynamic knowledge has advanced quite a bit since the start of the year.
Absolutely. So
going into your masters, you already see some, I've now experienced that. You see some lectures and you think like, oh, I've seen that somewhere this year. But it's also the soft skills that you learn. It's just communicating with people. You work in very big teams that are split up into sort of smaller teams, and sort of learn to speak to people in your team, but also, as Oscar and Manny have already touched on before, you communicate to model designers, you communicate to structural designers, you communicate basically to everyone in the team, and you have very little knowledge about their projects, but you need to sort of learn to discuss your ideas with them in a way they will understand it as well, and then you need to understand what they are doing. So yeah, the soft skills are definitely a big part.
Yeah, massively.
100%. And I think that's great because those soft skills you can apply to so many different areas of your
Exactly,
personal life.
exactly.
It's everything, isn't it now? You're going to look at your degree subject slightly different. You're going to think, I can organize myself a little bit better. You might hit those deadlines a little bit earlier than previous. So it's just so many different things. That personal development, as well as the technical skills is huge. So yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Mika. Iris, going to come to you finally. You've been on an amazing journey as you introduced so far, but yeah, tell us what life is like now coming back as a graduate, and what life is going to look like for the foreseeable.
Yeah, so I guess I'm in the mechanical design department. We are deep into work on the 26 car, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
Get to see all this new stuff that's coming together. And before, I was doing a lot of test work, so I would see completed parts and sort of evaluate how they're working. But now I get to, take one step further back and actually work on developing new ones. And yeah, because I had that placement experience, I also know a lot of people on the team. They know me. It was nice to come back. I'm like waving at people every 3 minutes, doing the tour of the factory, and I'm already like, there's my friend. And yeah, it's nice to know people because we interact across departments a lot. You develop those kinds of relationships that later on, when you need help with something, or you need someone to push something through for you, you've already built those relationships, and they'll help you out.
Yeah, it's lovely that. Yeah, it's good. That transition then back in has been obviously really nice for you. In terms of kind of tell me a bit about your kind of current role then as a graduate. Do you still get to rotate around the business? Or are you kind of in a set role now? Tell me what that looks like. Is it kind of like a 2-year program, or is it slightly different?
Now I'm just basically in with the engineers. So I'm in the corners group specifically of mechanical design. So that's most of the things that are inside a wheel, working on parts, basically.
Okay.
You got me in the deep end.
And did you expect that? Is that, how did that work? Did you expect to go into that team working in that role, or have you kind of just been encouraged that you can do this and this is where you're going to end up?
I think I had known from my placement experience that this is not, we're going to hold your hand for 3 months and then you're going to do stuff. You take the time you need to get back used to the CAD software that we use, and then we've got projects for you ready to go. And I remember that from my placement. I think second week I was already working on test parts that needed to go out to the track. So you get into it very
Brilliant.
quickly.
And then how did you find that transition in between your placement and the graduate role? Did you stay in contact with Georgia and the team? Did you kind of obviously keep an eye on what's going on? How did you do that?
The transition's been surprisingly smooth. I did keep in touch with some people, both within the design office as well as in HR. So that transition was nice. I had checked out some of the graduate roles that we had, but I think ultimately it was, they had reached out to me about the role in mechanical design before it went live. So that was easier on that side.
Perfect. Right, now I want to find out a little bit more what life is actually like, the working environment, the campus that we keep talking about, and ultimately the restaurant as well, because I hear you've got a very good restaurant. I want to know.
Always comes back to food with you, Jess.
It does. So Manny, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. So yeah, tell me a little bit about the hints and tips maybe you've got for anyone settling in. You talked a little bit about your first few days and what the induction was like. So just to recap on that if possible. Okay, are you again, my love?
There
we are.
It's a very nice setup. So in the first few days, you have on the first day actually you have a half-day long induction where you meet everyone again. You meet your managers. You meet the team and your colleagues, and from there you sort of go into a bit of a training phase where, like Iris said, you take some time to learn the various bits of software and tools you'll be using, but also you learn more about the skills you're going to have to use throughout the year. So you meet the people downstairs, the people who'll be making a pass for you. You try and acclimate to the environment. It's a very big place, so figuring out where everything is, things like where the toilets are, or where what the lovely restaurant is like, and the facilities you have, like here's the gym induction. You can use it between these hours and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good setup. Yeah.
And you had to relocate for this placement, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. So with HR's help, I sort of knew where to look for for places to live. So I actually moved into the Silverstone Village, which
Did
was
you?
very
Yeah.
convenient. So
Nice.
I was just down the road really, and you wake up and hear things going around the track, and it's really nice. But yeah, it was quite good. I wasn't really worried about anything. Everything had been accounted for. Things I'd missed out, they hadn't. So
Oh, well done,
it
George,
was
again.
really nice to be able to transition so easily.
Yeah, good. And that's really, really nice. And Meek and Iris, I'm going to come to you slightly, with you obviously having to relocate internationally for the roles. Tell me a bit about that transition, and Meek, maybe coming to you first, and how you found it.
Yeah, so at the start of the year, as Manny already touched upon, I think there's an induction day, which can be either on campus or online. I was fortunate enough to be able to attend it in person.
Yeah.
And there I met a lovely couple of guys that we moved in together with. So that was nice because they lived in England already. They were able to visit houses. They were able to look at places where to live. But yeah, as Manny also told, HR already had a pre-compiled list of towns around Silverstone where you could look for places to live.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite a smooth ride. And then obviously as an international student, you also have to apply for a visa in the UK, which was really nice. There's a lady hired by the company called Lucy, and at some random day in the middle of the week, I got an email from Lucy saying like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna arrange your visa," and then she guided me through the whole process. I just needed to fill in a list with my name and my credentials, and then a couple of weeks later, she had a visa ready for me. So that was really nice.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've heard from other people that you don't get that everywhere else, but this was really nice. You don't have to care about that yourself, and then yeah, it's just a question of moving in and starting your placement.
And I keep saying about being was it nerve-wracking, but was it? Were you nervous moving?
Yes, I was. I was very nervous. I remember I graduated my bachelor's on Friday and I started working on Monday, so I had 1 weekend to relocate. So that was very stressful. But even that, it's just the first day you come into such a warm bath of people, and everyone treats you so nicely, and everyone treats you very professionally, and yeah, a very nice welcome.
Shout out to you and your team.
Yeah, well done.
Sounds like a lovely bunch. I saw that, Iris, about Lucy.
I know, we saw that.
Oh my gosh. Our immigration lawyers are truly amazing. I've gone through the process with them twice. They're just very understanding. I can send them any question that help me out. They tell you everything that you need to do. It was seamless. I won't put another team on blast, but I did go through the process with another team. It took many months. It ended up not happening. So I will just say our infrastructure is very good.
Oh, well done. Well done, the whole HR team. Sounds like you've got everything sorted, which is great. And Oscar, I'm going to come to you. Have you got anything else to add to all these amazing things that everyone has said? Any hints and tips at this point? Anything else that you did maybe specifically that helped you settle in at the beginning?
I think just speaking to everyone. There's a couple of events that we do where all of the placements get together during like your induction and your training at the start of your placement. There's like opportunities where you get grouped up with other placements, sort of whether it be during the induction day, where it be like icebreaker things or different other HR related activities. But basically getting a good group of a friend within the company to spend your lunches with, to play table tennis with at lunch, to play table football with, to take a walk over to the track, to join in like during like the work barbecues and all of the events that go on. So yeah, just making sure that you've got a nice basis of friends, whether they're in your department or not. Sometimes it's nice to have a bit of a break from your work and talk about football or something not to do with F1, just outside of work. And there's some people that you even go with to events that are outside of work. So I've met people here that I'm friendly with, not only on a professional level. So yeah, just getting to know everyone, talking to loads of people, giving people hellos in the hallways.
Yes.
Yeah, just talking to everyone.
Yeah. That's a really good idea though sometimes, isn't it? You know what you're like, busy at work, you on a quick project, you got a deadline, and just looking up and saying hi to someone, that's actually a really good hint and tip, because I think sometimes can get in your zone, can't you? And I think definitely whilst you're on placement, again, any early career opportunity, that creating a network, finding out what other people are doing, because you never know when you're going to need them in the future. Give them a shout and say, oh, you need them. Talking a bit about social, kind of the social element, Mika and Iris, have you got anything, and Manny, have you got anything to add to that in terms of anything other kind of social aspects, anything else that you've been involved in?
Yeah, well, I think one of the coolest things, well, in my year, it used to be a 13-month placement, so I got to experience it twice, but we got tickets for the Friday at Silverstone, which was really nice, as it's literally just across the road. So I was at my desk, and 5 minutes later, I was watching FP1, and you get to attend the concert at night. That was a really cool opportunity to have. Also, you have a lot of sports groups within the company. So I know people organize netball groups, but I used to be part of the football team.
Okay.
So Monday nights, I had a good excuse to leave early. So yeah, and then just play football with a couple of people, but not only from your department, but from the whole company. So we had people from the race team joining in when they were not in another country. We had people from finance joining in. And so you get to know a lot of faces from just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I love that. Iris, going to ask you a random one because I've just thought of it. Race day. How often can you get involved on race day? And, would you ever get potentially the chance to travel and see where?
Travel is very department specific, but you can volunteer to be part of mission control, which is really exciting. You can do that even as a placement student. You get invited to listen to competitor radios and do intel stuff. We all do that, by the way. But it's fun to get involved with that.
Ah, fab. And so did you say you put your name forward for that whilst you're...
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good
Can you
experience.
imagine you doing that, Jess? Race day, listen to competitor intel, you're like, oh my God, what he said. That would be funny.
That'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, you would, Jess. You're not doing it. I'll just say no if she asks you.
No, I did think about that race.
No.
If you've got any free tickets, Anyway, sorry, Carla. Let's be sensible and let's hand back to you because you've got some amazing things that we all need to hear about on how to apply.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, thank you everybody so far. This webinar has been amazing. And George, I'm going to come back to you. So give yourself a wiggle before I ask you the question. There we go. So as I've mentioned, the roles are currently live on Gradcracker. So bit of a quick fire round if I can, Georgia. So firstly, can a student apply to more than one role?
So just testing that you can hear me.
Yes.
The wiggle worked. Good girl.
Good. So yes, somebody can apply for more than one role, but we really recommend being specific about what you're applying for. I think being really clear on, reading through what the ask is of the role, making sure that it's interesting to you, because obviously if you're applying for every single role, it is really hard to understand what you're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I mentioned, the job descriptions and all of the details are on the Aston Martin Formula One Hub on Gradcracker. So make sure you do your research, make sure you thoroughly read the job description before choosing that perfect opportunity. So second question, I think I know the answer to this, but where will the roles be based? Can the roles be hybrid?
So all of our roles are based here in Silverstone at our technology campus. So our roles are primarily on site. Most Formula One teams are working 5 days on site. And it's the best experience to be able to come in and have these amazing facilities 5 days a week. It supports the collaboration. It means you're having those off-the-cuff conversations. We're able to move things through quickly. And I feel like if you're spending 12 months at a Formula One team, you don't want to be sitting at home.
Absolutely not. I mean, you just want to be there with you. Yeah. So yeah, it's that really on-campus feel as well that makes you feel included. So yeah, brilliant. And thank you for that. And last question, I know Jess has spoke to, everybody really about relocation. Is there anything else from a HR point of view that you want to mention about relocation. And I must give a shout out to Lucy. You sound fabulous. I've never met you, but well done. Back to you, Georgia.
Yes. No, so we love Lucy. Everyone loves Lucy. So yeah, like the team said, I think they covered it off really well. So we have lots of documentation, lots of resources, to help support the move, because we know it is a big move, and it's something that is tricky sometimes, and you have to think and consider a lot of things. And so we try to make that as simple as possible. We also connect people as early as possible with other placements, so that, you know, things like flat shares, like Mika went through, can happen organically, and you can feel a bit more settled before you start. And obviously, Lucy supports with every single one of our visas, and she makes the process so super simple. She did my visa, she did Iris, Mika, everyone's visa. So it's really nice to have that dedicated support. They take away all the jargon, all the confusion, and they make it really easy.
Yeah, make it make sense, which is what you need. Keep it simple. And now to move on, Georgia, and talk about the application process. So as I've just mentioned, the roles have gone live. And when a student clicks on the apply link on Gradcracker, what should they expect?
Yes, really good question. So as soon as you click apply, you will be taken to an application form. So this is where we collect all your details, some of your personal details and your resume. So obviously recommending that you attach your resume or your CV. And then we've got a few questions, application questions, and we have a couple of kind of pre-text motivation questions as well. So make sure that you're taking the time to fill those out, and, you know, have a good think about your answers before you're submitting them.
Yeah, perfect. You're not giving much away there, George, I've noticed that. But talk to me about the use of AI, ChatGPT. It's a conversation that Jess and I have regularly, and everybody at Gradcracker. Tell me about the Aston Martin Formula One's stance on a student using AI to apply to your opportunities.
No, exactly. It's a conversation that we see everywhere, and as soon as people think they've got, you know, they've got a lid on it, or they understand it, it evolves again, and then it doesn't make sense again. So our stance here is around, we want to see the real you, we want to see the authentic you. And it is really easy to tell when something is AI generated. So it's probably not worth submitting something that isn't your own work, because that is going to obviously reflect on you and your application. I'm all for using it as a search function for, you know, getting your tips and tricks or extra information. But when it comes to the content, or when it comes to something that is personal to you, making sure that it is personal and authentic, you know, just like you wouldn't use it to submit an essay or a report in university. It's the same for your CV. Your CV is a representation of you. So we want it to be you, not your computer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a quite familiar conversation that I'm having with a lot of employers now. It's kind of with the employers want you to represent yourself, your authentic self, and everything else. So really appreciate that, Georgia. Thank you. Again, I mentioned about students submitting their questions before the webinar goes live. So a lot of the questions have been asked by the students about experience and what experience you look for. So what I'm going to do is kind of split this in two. And Georgia, I'm going to come to you first from the HR point of view. So we've had a question from Will at Newcastle University. Will's currently studying mechanical engineering, and he asks, what preparation recommendations would you give to students looking to apply for a placement?
Perfect. So there's a lot of ways that you can improve your application and improve your chances of being selected. So one, making sure that your CV is really clear and concise, not longer than 2 pages, and make sure that your key information isn't getting lost in your CV. That's always my biggest tip, is don't overflow it, because you're going to lose the key points that you're wanting to make. But in terms of, you know, wider preparation, it's making sure that you're putting yourself out there and you're going above and beyond in everything that you do. If you think about the skills and values that a Formula One team might be looking for, it's drive, it's innovation, it's resilience, curiosity. So showing that not only by saying I'm this and that, but showing I've done these projects, I've worked hard at things, I'm tenacious, I don't give up. whether it's motorsports related or non-related. So things like I've been, playing the violin for 10 years. It shows that level of, resilience and somebody who has drive and works hard. And then there's the obvious, motorsports connection, which always go a really long way. Things like Formula Student, things like personal projects. It just really shows more about your values and your character than, your skills or your technical capability.
Yeah, I was speaking to a student the other day, and they asked about was there any particular order that you look for a CV to be presented in? Is there an order that you would like to see, or are you not that worried?
No, I think it's personal preference, but I think, like I said, you don't want your key information to be lost.
Yeah.
So if something that you feel is most important about your CV, don't put it at the bottom of the last page. I think making the key information front and center, because unfortunately recruiters don't have a lot of time to be able to go through everyone's application. So the last thing you want is for your key and relevant information to be accidentally missed.
Yeah. And that's a good point as well, George, that you've made, but I think you made it by accident that, people at Aston Martin Formula One is actually people who look at your application.
Yes.
And I think that goes a long way, when we go back to the use of students using AI to apply. Aston Martin Formula One isn't using AI to go through your application. It's absolutely, George is like, yes, I go through thousands, Carla. I know this.
Yeah. No, exactly. It's your application is going to be reviewed by a real person, a real member of my team. Every single application is going to be reviewed. So you want to make sure that it is visible, it's set out correctly, and you're really selling yourself. This is the one opportunity in life where it's okay to brag.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that we do on Gradcracker, actually, when we're adding the job descriptions, and if there's something that we really want to promote or shout about from our employer's point of view, we embolden the text. So you'll see that on the Aston Martin Formula One job descriptions, if they are offering something, or if we want to really showcase something as part of those job descriptions, we do embolden that text, and maybe that's something that you can do as part of your CV as well. People are watching, maybe. Take a hint and tip from Carla. Just thought of it. So now I'm going to ask Oscar, who's kindly volunteered last minute to answer this question. So thank you, my love. So I've had a question from Abid, who's studying electrical and electronic engineering from King's College. And he would like to know, what did you do in your free time to make yourself more appealing to Aston Martin Formula One as part of your application?
Yep, so something I've been involved in since I was probably 5 or 6 is RC car racing, so remote control cars. So it's quite an advanced sort of hobby where we take sometimes like an off-the-shelf model, and we'll make upgrades on it to make it faster and better than everyone else's. So that's something I've done in a couple of years. So the year before I joined uni, and in my first and second year, I basically developed like a new steering system for one of our cars that basically improved its performance on track. And that was my first sort of taste before I got to uni of having an idea using some free CAD software on Google or something, and then send it to a friend's like £50 3D printer. Like, it didn't take any sort of advanced sort of technology or anything, nothing like what we've got here. But I think it was just that a sort of desire to go out on your own and just do something that you're passionate about. And I think that's what's important. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything motorsport related or even engineering related, I don't believe. Just sort of a project or something you've done that you've put some time into, like playing the violin for 10 years, as you said. I think it just shows that a sort of level of dedication, that it's not a job, it's not a placement, it's something you've done in like your spare time.
Yeah, it's something that you want to do as well. Perfect. Thank you, Oscar, for answering that question. Which leads very nicely on, I think you did this on purpose, to talk about Formula students. So I think what I want to say from the offset, and I've spoken to Georgia about this, it is important to say that you do not need to be involved in Formula student to apply to the Aston Martin Formula One roles. And I'm getting a shake of the head from Georgia, so I've said the right thing. However, we have had a lot of questions from students who are involved in Formula Students. So Dean, shout out for you. Dean's currently studying engineering at the University of Durham. So there's 2 parts to his question. Manny and Oscar, I'm going to ask you to answer this if that's okay. So Manny, you might need to do a shuffle. So what transferable skills do you think Formula Student has given you? Manny,
Sound check?
sound check, perfect.
Right, okay. So I'd say former student is extremely beneficial for learning the sort of fundamentals because at the end of the day, they're very similar projects. They're both cars. One is just on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
You know, the work you might have split up between 15 people before is now split across 1,000, and it's much more detailed with the best technology you'll ever use. So it's really about getting involved in former students because, you know, showing you're passionate and getting your foot in the door with sort of just even understanding, you know, general engineering terms that you might use in motorsports. They're both motorsports applications. And even if you might be, you know, be prepping to get a car running in a car park, it's very similar to getting a car running on a racetrack. So trying to get those experiences and doing it early on is quite good. I'd say you get in what you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, you know. It's if you really put effort into Formula Student, you can do the same in Formula One, you know, showing your passion, and passion is something that really, really drives people in this team, and you see it every day.
Perfect, thank you, Manny. And Oscar, for students who are watching, you think, oh, Formula Student, that sounds exciting. How do I get involved? So just give us a rough idea about how you got involved in Formula Student, if you can.
So the sort of specifically from how Brooks does it, at the start of the year, the teams will put out sort of a bulletin, or they'll attend like probably a freshers fair that probably a lot of universities put on.
Yeah.
They sort of advertise their sort of like their team. They want as many people as physically possible to sign up, because you don't know if you're getting people that may previously be engineers. You get people that have got these really good ideas that don't even know what engineering is. So basically, everyone is very much open to apply and get involved. The team sort of splits up in between like different sort of departments within the car. So they're more focused on electrical, some people more focused on mechanical, some others. But an important thing to know is whatever sort of thing you decide to do when you first join Formula Student, it doesn't really affect where you end up for your placement or maybe like a graduate role. It's not really completely relevant. Like in my case, the things I done during Formula Student were more like composites related, and manufacturing, like I was sanding down parts and stuff, which isn't directly what I'm doing here. Unfortunately, we didn't have a wind tunnel testing budget.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year. But no, so it's just about getting involved and learning those skills, as Manny said. But yeah, I'm sure all teams are very open to get as many people in as possible. More hands, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Jess is going to want to give a shout out to the societies, our Formula students.
You know
now,
me,
I saw your eyes go wide. So do you want to do a shout out to the societies out there?
Yes, absolutely, I do. So any well, the Formula Student or any kind of STEM related society can have a free hub on Gradcracker, very similar to what an employer would pay for, but the society gets the area for free. And the idea is that you guys can showcase yourselves directly to our employers. So we do have Birmingham, and we also have Oxford Brookes Formula Student Society hubs on Gradcracker. But we've got lots of others as well. And like I said, they don't have to be Formula Student, but it's a great way for students that are part of the society just to gain confidence, understand how they can use that area to enhance their application, learn how to show off, just like how Georgia mentioned, and how you can really show off about those soft skills that you're gaining throughout the year with your extracurricular activities that you're doing. So yeah, with Freshers Fairs coming up, guys, everyone that's watching and listening this, whether you're a final year student, a first year student, go to your Freshers Fairs, you know, get involved, any kind of extracurricular activity, as George just mentioned, and we've all said, looks really good on your CV. So go and get involved if you can. It's a no-brainer.
And if you want to get involved with Jess, get in touch. Jessica's details are on Gradcracker, or it is jessica@gradcracker.com.
I want to see lots of emails now, please.
Yes, please, ding, ding, ding. And now I'm going to end the webinar with my favourite part, because I'm allowed. And I'm going to ask everybody about what their favourite thing is about Aston Martin Formula One. So Mika, I'm going to start with you because you are top of my list this time. So Mika, what's your favourite bit so far?
I think my favourite bit's just, yeah, how much you're included in the whole company. It's from day one, well, of course, day one, you know very little about the business, but you get trained so quickly. The learning curve is so steep. So after a week or two, you already get involved in your first parts, and then a couple months in, you're designing parts that are ready to go onto the car. So it's really that bit. Yeah, you just treat it as a professional, as an equal, and that's really nice.
Yeah, amazing experiences from day one. Thank you, Mika. And Manny, what would you say your favourite bit is so far? No. Shuffled?
No.
No, I can't
No.
hear you. Well, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got
okay.
it?
Awesome. Yeah, so I think I've touched on this already, but I'd say the factory, even just from the location. So just for context, our office is back onto just rolling countryside.
Yeah.
We have some woods on the side that, you can walk around during lunchtime and you can hear cars go around the track, and it's really just fun, trying to guess what's going around. But then also the buzz around the factory, everyone, especially when it's really busy, is, really excited. Everyone's pumped and people live off the rush to, we've got a car to get to a track, and it's a really fun environment to really amp yourself up in.
Can you guess what car's going around? I know nothing about cars. I'm just going to say that.
Sometimes.
Yeah, can you? Oh, this is competition time now. Everybody has to think right. Perfect. Thank you, Manny. Iris?
My favorite part, I think I phrased this the other day as no one is too important to talk to you.
Love it.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're asking, who you're asking, you can just reach out. I've gone into the machine shop downstairs and asked, hey, how do you make this part? And he's just like, yeah, for sure, let me show you. He spent like 10 minutes showing me all the different steps. And there was also this one woman in the design office who I had seen on TV at the track and was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to talk to her. She's so cool. My friend was just like, send her a Teams message. It'll be fine. I sent her a Teams message. She was like, yeah, let's grab tea.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Fantastic. Thank you, Iris and Oscar.
Probably the wide range of like events that we do here. So things like Mika mentioned Silverstone, but there's been a few barbecues here, so free food. We love free food. And then like the events that they do, they done like a car show a few weeks ago. Obviously some of the other Silverstone related events, but even things like the restaurant, really great food. You can get dinner there, you can get lunch, breakfast there. The free gym membership. There's a health clinic if you've got a dodgy knee or something. And there's plenty of other things to get involved with, and events going on pretty much all year round.
Wow.
Gradcracker webinar.
And the Gradcracker webinar.
Thank you, Oscar. Wow. Thank you very much, everybody. That's been brilliant. And thank you all for joining us on this webinar today. So don't forget, be the first to apply. Go to the Aston Martin Formula One Hub now. Do some more research. There's lots and lots of information on there. Rewatch this webinar. The webinar and the bite-sized chunks will be live by the close of play end of the day tomorrow. So make sure that you do thoroughly do your research and before you get your application in. The closing date, as I mentioned before, is the 26th of September. I've written that down on my pad so I didn't forget. So only a couple of weeks to apply. So yeah, don't miss out. Give them a quick follow and get your application in. Join us on Thursday while Jessica is having a well-earned break. And me and Sophie will be joined by Sellafield. So that's Thursday, the 11th of September. I cannot believe we're 11th of September already, at 2 p.m. But for now, thank you, Aston Martin. As always, you've been amazing. And hopefully you'll be back next year, and me and Jess are going to be in our posh Aston Martin shirts, as promised by Georgia, and now it's live and recorded, so you can't let me down. See you later, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.